All charges are dismissed now in the UNM rape case involving some football players, but it is not entirely over just yet. Today, UNM police may hand over results of their investigation to the district attorney.
Now, if that happens, it would be just a day after the DA dropped all the charges against Lobo football player Saquon Edwards. Now, that happened yesterday. And earlier in the week, as we told you, charges were also dropped against Lobo player Crusoe Gongbe and CNM student Ryan Ruff. The three are not necessarily in the clear, though. Prosecutors say right now they don't have enough evidence to take this case to the grand jury. But if they find more evidence, that could still happen. This week, Mr. Ruff's attorney showed us video he says proves Ruff is innocent. The videos show the woman who says she was raped giving lap dances and appearing to voluntarily have sex with one of the men. Now, in another development yesterday, the woman's attorney, Brad Hall, says his client was apparently drugged the night this all happened and doesn't recall being at some of the places where the videos were made. You can read the full statements and find out all about this at KRQE.com. Well, a real-life cliffhanger in the Four Hills neighborhood in northeast Albuquerque last night.
Yeah, that's right. A suspected carjacker rammed cop cars, injuring officers, then nearly drove off of a cliff trying to get away. It all started Wednesday morning after a man was carjacked for his SUV, beat up, and left on his own driveway. Officers spotted the vehicle, a Chevy Avalanche, on Western Skies near Central. As soon as they went after the vehicle, they say the suspect just started ramming patrol cars.
We have numerous officers with injuries, not only from the impact, but from airbag deployments. The vehicle was continuing to batter its way through officers' cars and lost a tire.
The suspect almost drove off of a cliff when trying to get away. Cops say the guy decided to bail on foot, running through the mesa. Here is some cell phone video you're about to see of sheriff deputies showing up to assist. The suspect was eventually caught in the arroyo. In the end, 3 officers were injured but should be okay.
As we told you yesterday, it happened again this week. An inmate accidentally released from the Metro Detention Center. Jail staff misread paperwork and released this guy, Taylor Roberts, on Tuesday. He was caught a day later at a motel in Nob Hill. There have been 40 inmates accidentally released from the MDC since 2011. That is about 1 a month.
We're evaluating what was the cause, where was the breakdown in the system, and then going back to those respective individuals and then holding those individuals responsible.
Tom Swistak there says all jail staff will be retrained on how to read court documents and what to look for as they process the inmates. Albuquerque's police department is now asking Taser to improve technology on its lapel cameras, and is doing this after an investigation as to why there is no lapel video from the officer who shot and killed Mary Hawks in Duke City earlier this year. Officer Jeremy Deere here is still on desk duty this morning after shooting and killing Hawks near Central in Wyoming 2 months ago. A report from the maker of the lapel camera, Taser, says the logs do not show if Officer Deere ever hit record, and the camera was actually powered off before and after the shooting. Now, either the power switch was turned off or a cable was disconnected, but Taser says it can't say for sure if this was Officer Deere's fault.
Based on what we found from this report, what we've asked Taser to do is to update their firmware to where it can differentiate between what shut that camera system down.
Deputy Chief William Roseman says Taser is now working on the technology to provide those answers in the future. Well, 604 Rio Arriba County is now getting emergency grant money from the state to provide a day of mental health training to 180 police officers and teachers. This less than a month after Espanola police shot and killed a 16-year-old.
We don't want more tragedies.
There's a sense of urgency.
There sure is.
Well, the state's now giving Rio Arriba County $12,000 for mental health training. It's hoping to prevent something like that from happening again in Espanola. That is when Victor Valpando called 911, reported a suspicious person armed with a gun. He then described himself. Now, Espanola police shot Villalpando after they say he pointed a gun at officers. It turns out that the gun was just a toy. All right, and some other news this morning. Accommodations in New Mexico for families entering the U.S. illegally from Central America are apparently too nice. That is according to one state lawmaker. The Federal Law Enforcement Training Center in Artesia is slated to take in as many as 700 immigrants being processed for deportation. Republican State Rep Candy Spence Izell of Roswell toured the facility on Tuesday. The rooms where the families will live are nice and have TVs, toys, and books. The Artesia Daily Press quotes the Republican state rep saying it sends the message, why not try to come back if this is what America has to offer, end quote. A federal official countered her comments saying, quote, it's just common decency.
We want to show that we treat individuals with dignity and humanely.
That official is with Immigration Customs Enforcement. She says the goal is to deport the immigrants quickly within 10 to 15 days. You know, the massive surge of migrant children into the U.S. is creating both a political and humanitarian crisis. Busloads of immigrants are being shipped out of the U.S. They say coming to the U.S. was their only choice to escape violence, poverty, and sometimes worse. One family from Honduras ran away from what they call a guaranteed death sentence.
You are paying for protection to the same people that threaten you. In the neighborhood where we lived, the criminals are in charge.
All right, since October of last year, the Border Patrol has caught more than 52,000 immigrant children crossing alone. Vice President Joe Biden is working with faith leaders and refugee advocates to figure out what to do with the thousands that are entering the U.S.
Well, 6:06 now. A few thousand state workers will be getting some extra cash in their paychecks today. 5,300 workers are getting an extra 13 to 53 cents per hour raise in their checks because a contract dispute that's been going on for 6 years has finally been resolved. They'll also get separate checks soon to make up for the back pay, and in some cases, that'll be thousands of dollars. Remember last month, Santa Teresa got a new rail facility and 600 new jobs? Well, now it's getting 300 more thanks to a wire company, CN Wire. It's a company that specializes in copper wiring, is spending $42 million to buy and renovate a warehouse in Santa Teresa. Once it's all done, the company will hire 300 workers there. And if you can't wait for a job or move down south, head to Workforce Connection in Albuquerque today. It's having a career fair that focuses on education jobs, everything from Durham bus services to Rio Rancho Public Schools, UNM, and more. The career fair is at the Workforce Connection office off Mountain near Edith. It goes from 10 to 2 today. And best of luck to you. You're hiring for teachers, some assistants, bus drivers, a whole lot more.
Good luck.